Okay. Let me see here. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about family. Here, is it? Where am I standing? Am I okay? What do you want me to do? Is that okay? They put 2 mics on me. You sure? I'm buzzing. You want to make sure? I want to sound good. Okay. It's hard for me not to move. How about you guys? Right? We're going to talk about family. They interviewed 90-year-olds. Okay? They interviewed 90-year-olds. I remember reading this in a book, and they said they regret 3 things. And actually, these 3 things come up to the top for 90-year-olds. Guess what the first one was? I should have celebrated more. Write it down. I should celebrate more. I just got back from 10 days in Breckenridge with my family. I got news for you. I'm celebrating as much as I can every single day. Right? What is the saying that I've had now for 4 years at this company? We're going to make what?
Real estate fun again.
Guys, I have attracted more people to this company by saying that. Start with that. Are you having fun in real estate? And watch their reaction. How many have been in the business longer than 5 years? Raise your hand. A lot of people, right? 10 years, keep it up. 15, 20, 30, 35. Right? Me and Tucker and Linda and Dave. 35 years I've been in the business. In 1986, my buddies at Remax told me it would never work. I had the first car phone at Remax. It wasn't called a cell phone. In 1986, it was called a car phone because you put it where? In your car. I paid $1,000 a month. 1986. My Remax buddy says that will never work. Guess what? Did it work? How many people in here don't have a cell phone? Right? Can we not live without it? Isn't this you guys? What's this reaction? Isn't that crazy? 1986, they said it'd never work. 1978. 1978, I'm just out of college, Arizona State University. Anybody? No Arizona State grads? Well, I did graduate. So in 1978, my first job out of college was I wanted to follow my dad into banking, so I was a banker. And I was up in Flagstaff, Arizona. And you never heard these stories, Ian, but the guy was probably my age at the time, right? It's late 70s. He goes, let me show you this thing. It will never work. He showed me the first ATM in Arizona. The first ATM, he says, it'll never work because everybody wants to go in and see the what? The teller. You guys are going to hear this over and over again. The major reaction I've had since I started here 4 years ago is I need a community and I need my office. I go, excuse me? Do you use an ATM? Do you even go into your bank anymore? And they go, no. And I go, it's coming. See, that's why people like me knew. Have you ever read the book from Malcolm Gladwell called Blink? Write it down, Blink. And in that book by Malcolm Gladwell, he talks about the fact that if you've been doing something for a long time, doesn't matter. I've been doing real estate for 31 years when I found this model. My blink was, it's going to work. 4 years ago at this time, we had 400 agents. We were in about 25 states, and I didn't know what EXP stood for. Right? We didn't know. But my blink was, which were for guys, it's hard. For women, you guys got it down. It's called women's intuition. You have a gut. You have a gut feeling that something's. For guys, it's a long time happening. Right? I grew up with brothers. You know, we don't have the blink very often. When I saw it, Glenn goes, we have stock. Ian, he goes, we have stock. I said, how much is it? It was 12 cents a share. And I said, well, wait, is it real? He goes, yes. And I said, so we all can have it. He goes, everybody's going to have it. You get some on your first closing. You get some when you cap. You get some when you sponsor an agent. I said, so we're all going to have stock. And he goes, I said, Glenn, you've changed the industry.
Wow.
I said it 4.5 years ago when I met Glenn. You've changed the industry. He goes, why? And I said, nobody has stock. If Gary Keller would have given me stock in 1994 when I joined KW, I'd still be there. If Dave Lineker would have given me stock in 1986 when I joined Remax, I'd still be there.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do for a living? We sell what? Homes? Is that not ownership? If you own Coca-Cola stock, how much Pepsi do you drink? Right? Ownership is everything. We're selling ownership for a living, right? When Susan and I moved to Austin in 2009, we rented for 5 years for the first time in our life. When we rented, Susan painted nothing. For 5 years, she looked at that house as if what? It wasn't hers. We built a brand new home 4 years ago in Austin. The first thing she did, it was brand new. She picked out all the colors. What's the first thing she did, Carol? She painted the dining room. Right? Because it's what? Hers. Ownership is everything. I told Glenn at 12 cents a share, you changed the industry. Because we all own it together. It's a difference maker. There's not been an article written about us yet, by the way. Of any of the periodicals I've had that have talked like me today, have they? They just don't get it. It's okay. It's okay. Let them stay in their world. Somebody asked me today, how do you do an elevator speech? You guys got your elevator speech down? Here it is. Just so you know, I'll give you an elevator speech. Really, really quick. Everyone in the industry, since I've been in it, who makes money off the top? The broker, the owner. I tell them, doesn't matter what company I was with. I was with a small company in the beginning, then I went to Remax, then I went to Realty Executives, then I went to KW. All of those models had money coming off the top, and they gave it to who? The owners. There's owner models. Even if you're with a big independent, who makes money off the top on every deal? The owner. I said, I've been dealing with that model forever. When I met Glenn, the blink was, he goes, Gene, it's not going to be owner-driven, it's going to be agent-driven. There's your elevator speech. So when I meet anybody, they go, what's the difference? I said, the difference is all the models I've ever been with in the industry have been owner-driven, and now I'm in a model where it's agent-driven. We get money off the top. Which one do you all like as an agent? Owner-driven? Say yes. Agent-driven? Scream.
Yeah!
Okay. That's my elevator speech. And then I go into them, I said, we're the first ever, because I run into people all the time that have never heard about EXP I'm traveling all the time now. On airplanes, who are you? And I said, oh, it's really cool. We're the first national broker with no bricks and mortar. I said, it's kind of like Netflix. And they go, cool.
Yeah.
That's my elevator speech. They go, tell me about it. And I said, we have a disruptive technology. Write it down. Disruptive technology. If you've ever watched, what is that one where Mark Cuban's on all the time?
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. If you ever watch Shark Tank, they talk about disruptive technology. It's a word. It was invented in the late 90s because if there's a disruptive technology, it's a technology that totally destroys another industry. Really, I was here almost 1.5 years before I found out the word disruptive technology. And then I started using it. I go, because they'll say, is it a disruptive technology? What destroyed Blockbuster? Tell me. What was what was it? That's the company, but what was the disruptive? Streaming video. Streaming video. There's your script. With streaming video, all of a sudden everybody could sit around in their PJs and what? $8 a month, dudes. Woo! Binge watching. I thought binge only had to do with drinking. Now it's binge watching. I go over to my kid's house and they go, let's watch Game of Thrones for 8 hours. I go, no, you guys are awesome. I think I've binge watched once. Because to me, with my personality, it wouldn't be good, right? I'd be stuck in there all weekend. So here's what I want you to understand. What's our disruptive technology? Verbella, write it down, Verbella. Verbella, right? You have to give them basics. Nobody understands this. Because Verbella gave us the opportunity, by the way, we've had like 3 different Verbellas before Verbella. But what Glenn understood is he says, gee, somehow I've got to get rid of all these bricks and mortars, but still have a community. Right? I look really good as an avatar. Dang, I'm good looking. I look like my son again. I looked at my son the other day. I said, you need to get a new avatar, dude. Hey, I'm 30 years old again. It's awesome. So again, let's do basics. See, because what you guys don't know is you can be the expert of our whole industry by just what I gave you today. All right? Broker-driven, agent-driven. It's real simple. I start from the basics because they go, and if they start doing all the objections that Bob did with you, just so you know, I don't have objections. Because I explained it right the first time. I'm serious about this. I don't get objections because I'm just like Bob. I shut up and ask a lot of questions. But I don't have objections because I'm actually explaining it in a way. I think I've been doing this for 4 years. It took me 3 years to get my presentation down, by the way, before I joined EXP 4 years ago. How am I going to explain this to people that have been in a tops-down model all their lives? Has anybody been in an agent model besides us? I'm looking. You know why none of you have? Because you've come from owner-driven models. It doesn't really matter if it's a franchise or not, because if they're an independent, they still get money off the top and they tell you what to do. And where are you in the chain? Right? There's the owner, the manager, another manager, the broker, and you're down here at the bottom making the money for who? The owner. When Glenn showed me this, George, and he said, we're going to build this company with agents. I didn't understand it. I went, what are you talking about, agents? They don't know how to attract people. He goes, we're just going to do it, Gene. Glenn's right, I'm wrong. But I was in this other model for so long, Tracy. I thought, he doesn't understand what he's talking about. We need leaders. I was a manager for Keller Williams. I was a regional director. He doesn't understand. We need to get these people. I got my notes from 4 years ago. He doesn't understand. Glenn's the genius. Right?
Absolutely.
You let agents in the game, Ian, and they'll do a better job than anybody else.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
You guys, we get in the game. Is this not awesome? Okay. Here's what we're going to talk about. Anybody got a Kleenex or something? I do this every time. Have you guys ever seen me speak? I'm always asking for Kleenexes. Okay. What's your ahas from what I just talked about? I've only been talking for a few minutes. Give me some. What? Disruptive technology. Write it down. You can seem like an expert when you use that word. It's amazing. We have a disruptive technology. Well, what is that? Well, you guys can go in and get your answers right away, can't you?
Yep.
And you ask them, you go, well, no, I got to get in the car, I got to drive to the office, I got to meet the broker, I got to make sure they're there, right? But in ours, boom, you're in, get your questions answered. Don't you think that's the way things are going now? How many people like to wait? Raise your hand for anything. Just a couple things? Okay. Disruptive technology, good. What else? Ownership is everything. Write it down. Ownership in life is everything to me. It really is, because it gives you. By the way, I didn't even say the 90-year-olds what they regret, did I? I gave you one. Most of the women are screaming at me by now. What's the next two? What's the next two? The guys are going, I don't care. You gave me one, I'm good. Celebrate everything. The second thing they regret is that they didn't risk more. Risk more. When you're 90, you went, oh, that opportunity that I missed. Oh, I've talked to people that literally, one of our agents in Austin, his dad, true story, in 1980 got a phone call. His dad was working for IBM, was a vice president for IBM. And he got a call from Bill Paul and Steve. And they said, we want to meet with you and we want you to take over our company. And they met in New Mexico. And they said, Bill Gates, Paul Allen, Steve, what's his name? Not Steve Jobs, Steve. The guy that owns the Los Angeles Clippers. No, the one that owns, he was the president of
Balmer?
Yeah. So, but basically, these three young kids called him in 1980 and said, we'd like you to take over our company. It was Microsoft. And his dad's alive now, and his dad said, no, I'm a VP at IBM. I got what I want. Oh.
Yeah.
Risks we didn't take, right?
What's the third one?
The third one, thank you, Julie. The third one is, when you get to be 90, you want to leave something behind. You want to leave a legacy. And there's nothing better in life than 100 years from now, and that your great-great-grandkids are going to repeat your name to say, he changed our lives forever. Okay? I'm in this business for the legacy. I'm in this for my family. We went to, anybody tell me, that haven't seen me speak before, what's this?
Magic Band.
Close? What is it? From where?
Disney.
Disney? And what is it? It's a? Fast Pass. Okay. I got $20 for both of you. Come on up here. Come on up here. I like giving money away. There we go. Give 20 to the guy behind you. There we go. Okay. Now, this is a Fast Pass. I love you guys. So Susan and I have 5 kids and 5 grandkids. We have 5 kids and 5 grandkids. One of our kids couldn't make the trip, but we had 4 of our kids and all of our grandkids at Disney about 4 weeks ago. And the reason I'm so pumped up is you notice the picture. In fact, one of our kids was in the restroom at the time of the picture, so we have one not in there. It's like, well, we're taking it anyway. But do you notice there's 2 people that have the same outfit on? They're called VIP people at Disney World. Has anybody in here ever had a VIP at Disney World in Orlando? You have. I think we talked about this. You've had it also. Oh, there's Brian. Brian's in the picture. It's my son-in-law. So anyway, I got to tell you, it's not cheap. Okay? But instead of having a Fast Pass, which, again, you get to go in another line, right? But when you have the VIP, you get to go in the exit and in front of the Fast Pass.
Wow.
Legit.
Brian, was it not cool? Dude, I mean, after a while, you went, this is what I want to have my whole life like.
Wow.
And here's the coolest part about it. I want to tell you, that's Todd kneeling down. Todd had been a VIP for 9 years in Orlando. That's Kristen. Kristen's from San Antonio, by the way. She graduated from the college here, interned in there. She's been a VIP for 4 years. I want you to listen to this. They anticipated everything. Within the first half an hour, they knew all of our names. They knew the kids' names. They knew the parents' names. They said, now we had to have 2 of them because we had 13 of us, and you can only have 1 per 10 people. So we had 2, which was awesome, wasn't it? Because that way they could take the little kids and go to one park, and take the bigger kids and go on the roller coaster, right? And in one day, we saw 19 events in 4 different parks.
Wow.
You guys ever been to Orlando?
That's a record.
We went in and out. We went in and out of the employee entrances. We had 2 cars that drove us all around. Now, here's my big takeaway. When you're selling real estate, do people think of you as the VIP person? Think about it.
Wow.
Are you giving that VIP service that's so doggone good that they're telling everybody, in fact, they're standing up here talking about you? Think about that. That's how I want you to run your real estate industry with us. Is that okay with me? I want us to be known as, oh my gosh, when I did a transaction with her, it was unbelievable. She anticipated what was going to happen wrong, right? She looked ahead. Now, I got news for you. Todd and Kristen, true story, I'm glad Brian's in the room. We wanted to take them home with us. Oh, 2 days. 2 days, and it was well worth it. And when you look up the cost of it, you will still do it, won't you, Tucker? You will do it because you'll go, it was worth it because the stress of, by the way, I'll be honest, Brian, Susan and I were not looking forward to spending, your grandparents were going, wait, we're going to be in Orlando? What a stressful, when you think about it, it's like, oh, all the meltdowns, the 5-year-old and the 3-year-old, and the boom, boom. At one time, the 3-year-old had a dress on, right? It was really cool. In fact, let me show you this. It's awesome. Chotamate kudasai. Anybody knows what that means? Chotamate kudasai. In Japanese, that means wait a minute, please. And you go find somebody who can speak Japanese. So, this is Allie. She's 3 years old. And Asher, who's 5. But Allie, look at the pose. Look at the pose. Oh my gosh. I never thought it would be so cool to meet these princesses and stuff. It was the highlight, wasn't it? It was the highlight because she went, oh. And, and the parents bought her a dress. And so she was doing this Frozen dance all through the park, and people would stop and watch her. She's just dancing or posing. Well, after a couple hours, on the way to one of the other parks, she had an accident in it. So cute. She had an accident in it and just took it off and walked into the next park in underwear. Awesome. It was awesome. It was so funny. Wasn't that cute? Those memories will be with me forever. Brian, thank you. And his little son, Lincoln Paula, is just, I don't have pictures. But it's what you want to do in life, is you want to have memories that you remember forever. You want to celebrate every day. You want to risk more. You want to leave a legacy. That's why we're here. They're not going to remember how much rev share you got. They really won't. They'll just know they can go anywhere in the world. On Grandma and Grandpa Frederick. Brian's okay with that. Here's the thing. I was at Remax in the mid-'80s. I thought I was at a special place. Because that's when Remax was growing. I was at KW in 1994 for 21 years. Thought I was at a special place. This is the next special place. Okay? If you don't understand that, you don't understand the industry. We've always been broker-driven. Now we're what? Agent-driven. Not been an article written about it yet. Haven't seen one. They keep comparing us to the old model. Every article I've read for the last 2 years, they keep going, well, yeah, they're doing as good as blah, blah, blah. As good as this. And I'm going, they haven't figured out that we have a disruptive technology and we're changing the universe. Okay? There's your elevator speech. Get it down quick. By the way, if I didn't believe this, 4 years ago this month, I was not joined yet. I joined at the end of April 2015. People asked me back then, I sold 6 offices in a region. I sold everything I built up. Try having that conversation with your wife. Spend 21 years building it up. We were retired. And say, honey, we got to sell everything. The look I got was not good. Susan will tell you, it was not a pretty situation. I said, honey, I just found the thing that agents will want. Okay? And it's been proven right. A lot of people ask me, did you know it was going to work? I said, yes. I didn't know how fast. Yeah. But I knew our industry had never had a change since I've been in it. Just different colors, different logos. If somebody goes from one of the broker-driven models to another broker-driven model because somebody pays them, it's just a payment. See what's happening in our industry? They go from one broker-driven model to another broker-driven model. The only way you will change your life is you come to us. Period. How many people have stock in here? Raise your hand. We're all owners. Does that make sense? Yes. That's the difference maker. If you do nothing but take 5% of your commissions every month, push the button, 5% of your commissions every month and get 20% discount, how much did you make on your money?
20%.
20%. Get over looking at the stock price every day. You just made 20%. All right? They haven't figured this out yet. Okay. Isn't that the cutest little picture? All right. Here's what I want to do because I've got so many things I can tell you about. Everybody, they don't understand. By the way, I do this. Give me your pen. Give me your whole thing. Yeah, just bring it up here. Just bring it up. Give me your pen too. Okay. Okay. Here's what I want you to do. Okay. How do you guys do your presentations? PowerPoint? Scratch it. No PowerPoints. You do it on a piece of paper from now on. Okay? All right? Here's what I want you to do. At everything. See, this sets you up as the expert, George. You've got to understand. They're going to start hammering you with questions. You go, let me give you a history lesson in real estate. All right? There's 3 different models. Okay? Here's exactly what I do. And Linda and Dave are back there. They know. They've got all my scribbly notes from way back when. As I said, there's an owner-driven model, and I write owner up here. I wish I had a presentation, but you can see it. I write owner, and I put a line. Now, the owner model, what do? They hire managers, or in the franchise business, they hire regions who hire managers, who hire staff, and down at the bottom is what you guys call agents. Now, I did it really quick, but this is really, really important. If you've ever read books on how to do presentations on a napkin, there's books in the bookstore, you can get them. Go get them. I put squares. The reason I put squares for everything is what that means. You're in a box. And not an actual square, these are rectangles, because he's going, that's not a square, that's a rectangle. But you need to do this, and I do it every time, and I said, every real estate company I've been with has been tops down. And the agent's on the bottom, and the owner is on the top, and what do they get on every single deal if they're with a franchise? They get a royalty or a franchise fee off the top, and who does it go to? And I ask them, who's it go to? And they go, well, it goes to the owner or the region. I go, yeah, isn't that cool? So they take money off the top before any expenses are paid, and they give it to who? These guys. By the way, I did this to somebody. I do this to brokers all the time. Because brokers love to tell you, when you have brokers, they love to say, well, you don't know the business. And I go, well, the second model, there's 3 models. The second model is not an owner-driven model. Guess what it is? It's client-driven. And I said, now the client-driven model takes money off the top. Some companies like Redfin list homes at 1%. Or they tell a buyer, we will give you money back if you work with us. So it's client-driven. How long have we had those models? Forever. For 40 years. I had them in the 70s. I had them in the 80s. They were called Help You Sell, YUSA. Now they're called Redfin. And they go, we're going to give money to the client first. Off the top to who? The client. Cool. I said, that's not us. We're the only national company with a disruptive technology. See how quick it goes? We've gotten rid of all the bricks and mortar, and we take money off the top, and we give it to who? You can pick it up now. Okay, choke him up here. Okay. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I'm not going to do that yet. Choke them up. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Oh gosh, choke the mate. You can't go backwards now. How do you go backwards?
It's the bottom button. Bottom.
Okay. Okay, we're right there. Okay. We'll do flights, let's feed it later. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I try to make it simple for people. Because what they don't understand is they think we're just crazy because we have no bricks and mortar. right? That's how they all of a sudden have that barrier. You don't have what we've always had. I said, yes, we do. We have an office. I don't call it virtual. I said, we have an office. Because when they tell you we don't have an office, tell them, yes, we do. You've been misinformed. Let me take you in there right now. Then you open up and you go, I'm going to go in and show you our office right now. By the way, if I had to go see your office, where do I have to go? And they go, well, we have to drive 20 minutes this way through San Antonio traffic on 410. Right? And I go, no, let me show you the office. It's the biggest misnomer I've had since I've been here in 4 years. They keep saying we don't have offices. I said, yes, we do. Let me show you the office. Does that help you guys? So I tell them, you're either owner-driven. I can do it so fast now. I mean, literally, once you get this down. But what you want to do is you want to get it really good and do it for them and hand it to them. And say, this is my outline to talk to you. I have to tell you the basics of the industry. Because you think we're going to, if you're going to compare us to any of the franchise models, just so you know, none of them have a disruptive technology like us. Oh yeah, my owner says that we're the most tech-savvy people on earth. And I said, well, that's good. So show me your disruptive technology. Can I go into your office right now? See, I want to use my disruptive technology, right? I don't care what else they have. Does that help everybody?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think the problem is nobody's taught you how to show them all. You're always worried about objections. I don't have any. By the way, if they don't want our disruptive technology or the cool things we have, I said, it's okay. Here's the 3 things you're going to have to become a really good attractor. Number 1, patience. Write it down. It's the hardest thing. I get it all the time. There's no high D's in the room, are there? There's no high drivers, are there? People call me all the time. I mean, hey, why don't we get that person in? I want to fly Jason over to see him. They're a big producer. And we'll fly Glenn in, and then we'll fly so-and-so in. And they start doing all this high D stuff to me. I said, ho. Do they even like us? So what I want you to do is be patient. I have people that have joined us after 3.5 years. So it is really hard for you guys. I know, but it's okay. If you contact somebody today, they're not going to jump tomorrow, most than likely. So be patient. The second thing is, this is the big persistence. Write it down. If you're not persistent, I'll be really honest. I've been doing this for so long, so hard with Tracy and everybody, and so many good times we've had here coming down with Pat and working our tail off. I've lost track of some of the people I talked to my first year. I'll be really blunt. And they're now with us, and I didn't follow up. Big ones. Big ones. So you need to be persistent. You need to write their name down and look at it every single week. And everybody says, well, how often should I text them? All the time. There is no number. You just keep texting them, Facebooking them, LinkedIning them. Social media is the way to go nowadays, right? I like texting because I just like texting. Because I get back to you. If you send me mail, and it's called through the internet, it's called what? Email. It's still mail. I haven't looked at my mail in 20 years. I've not opened up an envelope in 20 years. True story, ask Susan. I do not pay the bills. I don't open up mail. So if you send me an email, guess what? I don't open it up. Text me. Get in the real world. Social media. What's the big thing on social media now to go get people? Instagram. By video, right? Video is the new thing. Well, get with the program. Everybody goes, well, I don't know what I look like. Oh, who cares? They don't know what you look like anyway, because you're not sending them anything. I said, get a little puppet. You guys don't do anything. When you don't do anything, how's the results? It's guaranteed, isn't it? When you don't do anything, the results are guaranteed. Come on, guys. I don't know what I look like. Oh my God. Look at me. I'm the best looking dude on earth. Okay. I've always said that. You know, you guys didn't sell real estate in the 80s like Dave and I did. I used to have to pick up people at the airport, Dave, remember? And I'd pick them up at the airport. I sold in Dallas, Fort Worth. They go, what do you look like? And I said, it's a cross between Richard Gere and John Travolta. I said, I don't know. My wife gets me confused. Sometimes she calls me John, she calls me Richard. And then I'd get to the airport and I'd hold up their picture and they'd look at me. I don't know about Richard Gere. Your own version of reality, right? Guys, come across, and by the way, be the VIP. I'll tell you what, if I was selling real estate now, I'm not kidding you. I'd give them this. I'd say, hi, here you go. And they go, what's that? And I said, it's a fast pass at
Disney.
Orlando in Disney World. And you're going to feel like this is good. The service I'm going to give you is just like a fast pass. I would make up things to make that. They're going, nobody ever did that to me. I go, you don't understand. You haven't sold real estate through Gene or Susan. Guys, be different. What are you guys doing? Same old? Come on. Have fun with it, right? Am I making sense to anybody in here? I like it when I'm making sense.
What's the third thing?
Third thing what? What did I say?
He's good attractor.
Oh! There's women in the room. George, there's women. George just said, can we fight? Did you see on TV? He was fighting for EXP. Here's my thing. Third is an A. Ask for help. It's what you're doing today. You know, a lot of people call me. I know Brian called and said, hey, should I go down to San Antonio? Yes. Dave and Linda called. Should I go down to San Antonio? People from yes. I go, why? Because you're asking for help. You're coming. Every single one of these events, you should show up because what are you doing? How do I do this? Please help me. And then you find people in the room that you can do three-way calls with. Right? Guys, this is how we did it. This is how we've done it from the beginning. I came down here 3 years ago, and wasn't it fun, Pat? Remember?
Loved it.
We were having fun, man. Boom, 20 people in the room. We didn't know what we were doing. We don't know. It doesn't matter. Right? George was with us from the beginning. It's exciting, but the thing is, ask for help. Because the hardest thing we have as human beings is we think at a certain age, we know it all, right?
Gino, real quick, tell the Christmas Eve story.
Oh, Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. He came in early December 2015. And I'll never forget, he calls me, he says, well, Scott and Tracy are out of town. He goes, can you do me a favor? I've got 6 or 5.
It's like
8 interviews. It's gotten bigger. Because it's Pat. But he goes, I got 8 interviews lined up. Literally 8 in the morning. 8 in the morning, then 9, then 10, 11. He goes, can you come December 24th, 2015? Now, I live in Austin. It's about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive for me. And I said, sure. So I take off early in the morning. I get there by 8 o'clock. We have our first one. We meet. Everybody shows up.
Yep.
Now, here's what I told him. By the way, the reason I know this is a true story is on December 24th, on the way home, I bought Susan her Christmas present. Walmart was open. Woo-hoo. Susan loves me. She loves me. She loves me not. And then how many have joined, Pat?
Every single one of them.
Woo!
Every single one.
Yeah, baby.
Pat Hayes is the reason. Pat Hayes is the reason. He asked for help. He asked for help, right? I came down, and to this day, I don't know of a manager, recruiter, whatever you want to call them, regional directors, at any other company that's had 8 interviews on Christmas Eve.
Amen.
Right?
I agree.
So we're different. You guys, here's the last thing I will say, when I say not last thing, but you have to be urgent, right? Write it down. There's got to be some type of urgency in your body. And I heard a few of the speakers, and Christy was great when she mentioned my name. I like that. But I was here for a couple hours. And they were all like, you just got to do it. But there has to be an urgency. You know, it's hard to wake up 2 hours early and leave at 6 in the morning to fly to drive down to have an 8 o'clock and then have 8 and then drive back. everybody goes, did you do that for a long time? I said, no, just for a couple of years. Now I'm on the phone all day long. I don't do as much, I fly all around, right, and do these kind of things. I got in late last night from Breckenridge, right, and came down today. I told him I can't miss it, but I can't be there till probably 10 or 11. He says, that's okay, all right? I'm on an urgency. Here's the other thing I want us to do. Can we all agree for one thing? This is Team EXP.
Sure.
All right? It's not my RevShare team and yours. It's Team EXP. Can we agree on that? Okay. The second thing I want you to do, the second thing I want you to do, if you read who sent me tribal leadership? Was it you, Bob? Did you send me tribal leadership? You're meeting with him next year. So he wrote Tribal Leadership. Get the book. It's about 10 years old, but it's phenomenal. And in there, tribal leadership shows, here, hold that for me. I can't, what am I? Tribal leadership is this. Basically, when he studied businesses and employees, some people really hate it. You know, there's about 3 or 4% of the people that you got to watch out for at wherever you work because they might bring a gun. Okay? Then there's about 25% of the people that hate going to work. Right? There's 25% of the people, and you might know some in your family, that every time you meet with them, they complain about what they're doing. Okay? This is real. And then there's about 30% of the people, okay, well, that actually, they know that the company's a good place, and they talk about we. We're going to do that. We talked about it this week, right? It's a we thing with us. Well, here's what I want to do. I want to go to the very top. There's only 4% of the companies that he found out in the United States did this. What's your mission? In other words, 4% of the companies, we're doing it Team EXP. But there's a higher vision. Here's my higher vision. We're going to change agents' lives forever.
Right.
Woo. Okay? Let's start it now. Change agents' lives forever. I'm in the change agents. Everybody in this room, I want you to make $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 a month for the rest of your life and the rest of your kids' lives and the rest of your kids' lives. Would that change? Would they remember you? Would that be a legacy?
Yes.
That's what I'm doing. And they don't get it yet. Now, there's not going to be an article written about that changing lives. If we all agree that that should be the higher purpose, right? We're doing it together, but it's a higher purpose. You'll never steal somebody from somebody else, would you? Because you wouldn't care. Because as long as they come to EXP, we're changing their lives. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, baby.
Let's start it today. Making real estate fun again, changing lives forever. Making real estate fun again, changing lives forever. If it's a mantra, we're going to talk different than everybody else. We're just going to talk different. And here's the other thing. What are my 3 things? Patience. What's the second one? What's the third thing? Very simple. Make your triangle whatever. You've got to be patient. Because here's what happens. I have some of my best friends in the industry. I've been in the business 31 years when I started here. I've been in the business 35 years now. That I still see at other companies that I want them to be with us. I love them. They're some of my best friends. They're still at the other company. Do you know how hard that hurts? But yeah, because you go, oh, how can I scream? What I've done as an attractor for over 30 years in real estate is I've realized it's got to be on their time. Write it down. It's got to be on their time. Even Brent Goldman and I were talking about this the other day. Brent said, Gene, he's recruited like 80 people at his first level. He says, Gene, the ones that I forced it, remember when he was talking about this? He said, the ones that I forced it, that I went, oh, I really want her here, so I'm going to, I can't do, can I do Brent? No. And he goes, I wanted him here. He goes, I've had the worst problems with him. Because if you force it, get out of your way. All right? If you guys are working on brokers, here's what I want you to do. You guys know a lot of brokers that have 10 agents, 15 agents, 30 agents, 40 agents, 100 agents. I hear this all the time. I get the call, Gene, the broker's my friend. I'm telling you, I think we can get him or her. And I tell you, well, here's what I'm going to tell you. Get their top 2 producers first. The brokers are stubborn as all get out. I've been working on them for 4 years. And they will make so many excuses, but you get the hat. Sorry about that. I'm looking your way. Sorry, Pat Hayes. But you know what I mean. You get the top producer, and what's the owner do, right? All of a sudden, now let's talk. Just giving you little tips. I've been doing this for 4 years. I've actually been attracting real estate agents since 1989. Just, you know, to give you any credibility, I was the #1 attractor for my previous company. 6 out of my last 9 years I was there. When I say that, I just tell you to give that credibility. The fact is, everything you've heard today is correct. I love Bob's, and the gal after Bob was, you know, shut up. Ask questions and shut up. And don't try to force it. I talk a lot when I'm up here because I'm supposed to talk. Right? And you guys think, you know, it's like, you know, I'm streaming video. You go get through it, Gene. You're not talking fast enough. But when I meet you, what do I say? The first question I ask, I just did it a couple times today. Teammate, tell me about yourself. I do it every time. Every time I meet my buddies. I don't talk about me. I talk about what? Tell me about yourself. What's going on, dude? I learned it. I let them talk 90% of the time. Did I ever tell you this, Julie, I've ever told you this story? 2006, Susan, and who else was a cancer survivor in here that said that? Oh yeah, my darling over here, Christy. Christy and my wife both had it. I remember when Christy had it. My wife was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2006 when I was at Augusta. I was at Augusta watching the Masters. The worst phone call of my life. But anyway, I come home, and I got to tell you, she immediately, if you know Susan, it was 2006, baby, we're doing this, blah, blah, blah. Had her operation, shaved her head, and she was a blonde, Christy. She was a blonde it was awesome. It was awesome. I was married to a blonde for like 6 months. So she had this blonde wig, and I tell the story, I was interviewing, I was a team leader at KW, and a recruit comes in, and she was sitting here, of course she was taking time off, she was going through chemotherapy, and she was sitting right here at a computer, and I had a very small office, and the guy says, and I said, well, tell me about yourself. And he says, well, my wife's got breast cancer. He talks for 45 minutes, tells me all about it. He leaves. He signs up. And Susan turns and looks at me, and she goes, honey, you never mentioned me. And I said, honey, it's not about us. Do you have that discipline? I do. She goes, you never even mentioned me. He's talking about his wife going through chemo. She's going through chemo. How often do you read in a sales book where it says, well, just relate to them and say, oh, my wife's going through chemo. You're going through chemo. Do you read those books? Throw them away. Throw them away. Because I'm just telling you, it's all about who? Them. Once you get used to this, guys, I've attracted agents all my life that don't know how many years I've been in real estate, how much I've sold. They don't know a doggone thing. But I know everything about who? Them. Does that help?
Absolutely.
Remember that story forever and ask Susan about it. By the way, she's a cancer survivor. It's been 13 years. So, you know, cancer survivor, Susan. Right? Any questions for me? Because I'm excited today. I don't know why. This is a good group.
Yeah.
You guys did good. Here, give me one more napkin. Give me another napkin. These are guys. Give me a Kleenex. It's a napkin. Guys, sorry. Questions for me. What have you gotten out of this so far? That you're going to take home and use. When I say that, because I don't want people to just say, oh, that was that was really inspirational. But I want you to take something back and implement it into your life.
Disruptive technology.
Disruptive technology. Thank you, Brian. What's that? 3 models.
Yes.
3 models. Somebody stand up and do the 3 models for me. Who wants to do it? Go ahead.
So you have broker driven, you have client driven, and you have us, which is agent owned.
Beautiful. That's 20 bucks. That's 20 bucks.
More money, more money.
More money, more money. Yes.
Different types of scripts. 3 to 4 times running. Lunch invitation. Clothing.
What was that?
And how to make scripts your friend. If you don't like it.
Okay. Thank you. Woo! She's got Kleenex for me.
Yay.
These women, they can't, you know. Give me that cloth from that table over there. Yes, Tony.
Patience, persistence, and ask for help.
Thank you, Tony. Perfect. I'm not giving Tony 20 bucks. He lived with me for a while.
How would you say to manage the urgency now that it's really, really building, but also like building the rapport, asking for help, because you know that sometimes you gotta follow up, and I guess in a sense trying to protect George.
Right. This is a great question. Because right now, 4 years later, right, we've got this thing where people know about urgency. If you sell 6 offices in a region, and I was literally pulling in pretty close to $1 million a year passive income, and you tell your spousal unit that you want to get rid of that passive income, what's the look I'm going to get? That was the look. She's giving it to me. So my urgency was I have to replace that. Right?
Right.
A year and a half later, I'll give you an example. I joined May 1st, 2015. A year and a half later, it was Thanksgiving. And we have a big family, and I don't know about you, but Thanksgiving is my favorite. We sit around the table. We have the 3-year-old tell us what they're thankful for. We have the 10-year-old. We have every single kid in our family has to say it. It came all the way around. It's a great meal. And it gets to Susan. Guess what she said? I'm thankful EXP worked.
Amen.
It was real. It was real. Because that first year and a half, little tense, little Jeannie, you were retired for a year. I don't want to see you in the house anymore. Are you not driving down to San Antonio today? Are you not go somewhere? Because got news for you, dude. We don't have that enough in our life. We don't have enough of I gotta do it. I don't know why, but I've always had that feeling. If I ever don't have that feeling to perform for my family, for my kids and my grandkids, I don't know. George, what do you think? We talk about your kids. They're everything to you, right? I don't quite understand when people say, when are you going to retire? I said, I'm retired now. I'm retired now. I'm doing what I want to do, when I want to do it, and I have the money to do it. I'm retired and I've got 2 mics on. I feel like a gun holster. Okay, here's what I want you guys. I think you guys got a lot out of this today, didn't you? I think you did. I think you did. The urgency thing is something I never understood. Because all my life, I think I've had that urgency. I started my own real estate company when I was 33 years old. And I know, Tracy, you did too. I mean, we started real estate companies because we thought we had to get ownership to get what?
Leverage.
Residual income.
Yeah.
And I started that. Most of my offices were in California or on the East Coast. I had to get on a plane and fly somewhere. Susan and I put our hands in. I said, I'll be away from the kids because we can get this residual income. I mean, I worked that game. Go try it.
It's horrible.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Is it not, Tracy?
It's brutal.
So now everybody goes, well, how can I get the residual? I said, it's awesome. You don't have to buy a franchise, start an office, sign your name to a lease or nothing. You just have to go talk to people. Wow.
Wow.
If I was you guys, just do this, right? Now, does it take commitment? Yes. Does it take persistence, patience, ask for help? Yes. But got news for you. How hard do you work to sell a home in San Antonio, Texas?
Right.
You guys work your tail off, I know, because when we were at in Orlando, Nicole was working an offer and Kyle was working an offer, and they're staying up late at night. And here we are having all day fun, and at night they're up for a couple hours doing what? Real estate. It's real, right? Every time you go out of town, what happens to your business? Stay out of town. Okay, here's what I'm going to end with. Yes, Carol. No, it's okay. She's a high D, I know her. We were both regional directors together.
One of the things that I'd like to begin with about the discussion is that
I'll repeat it.
Netflix was never created to destroy Blockbuster. Uber was never created to destroy Yellow Cab. Airbnb was never created to destroy the reservation business. I mean, you could go on. Amazon was not created to destroy the retailers. EXP was not created to destroy any other real estate company. And that's why we show so much class when we are being interviewed, when people are asking us, how do you compare with this? It's a whole new
Together in another company. And she was phenomenal. It's amazing the talent we have in this company. Tap into it. Tap into it. That's another thing I think is wrong. Everybody goes, well, I'm going to do it myself. Gee, those were good. You know, I like that owner, client, agent one, but I'm going to do my own. Really?
Good luck.
Why?
Seen for years.
Just take her script and redo it. Just copy it because it works. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to end with this. I always like doing this. My Flying Sophia story. Now, this is my oldest granddaughter. I just was with her in Breckenridge, Colorado. Her name is Sophia, and she's now 15 and a half. But when she was 2 years old, I'll never forget it. It was in the summer, 2 years old. So you guys do the math. Now, how many people have 2-year-olds? Raise your hand. Ah, don't you love it? They don't like to wear clothes. Right? She was living with us. My daughter and my first granddaughter were living with us. And she comes in, it's a Saturday morning. I don't know about you guys, but you women. We're making the bed, and there's 2,000 pillows on the bed. What's the deal with the pillows? Just give me something. It's just a pillow thing, right? And now I grew up with 4 brothers. I have 4 brothers. My sister is the youngest. She's really a guy. There's 5 guys in the household. My sister is the first male to ever give birth. She's really a guy. So my daughter knew how rough I was with her as a kid because I love throwing people in pools. Do you guys not like that? I love throwing out. So here's my little granddaughter Sophia, 2 years old, walks in and goes, Grandpa, I can fly. And my daughter looks at me, she goes, oh no. I said, yes, you can fly. So I picked her up, and Sophia, we used to call her baby with hair. She looked like Darth Vader. She had a helmet. So here's little Flying Sophia. Grandpa's going, don't worry, Sophia, it's okay. You can fly. Now don't worry, there's a ton of pillows below her. Okay? But here she goes. Baby with helmet. She was the cutest thing you've ever seen. I mean, it really is one of those days I'll never, never, never forget about it. And she hits the ground, starts laughing. What'd she say as a 2-year-old? Again,
Do it again.
Grandpa, again. 3 hours later. I kid you not, no. 3 hours later. And my daughter was taking pictures so new, because this is like, very early. We didn't have cell phones then, right? We didn't have, or what do you call them, smartphones? Right? We didn't have that filming, so we were just taking pictures. Well, got news for you. After a while, she goes, "Can Grandpa fly?" I did my best. Here's what I want to leave with you today. Picasso, genius, right? Said every single person is a genius. They have to find the inner child. When did you think you could fly? When did you actually tell yourself you can't fly? And why? I want you all to go out here today and go, I can attract as many people as I want, when I want to, when I want to. I can fly. You're going to go back and your spouse will use it, or somebody next to you says, "Oh, it's hard. Don't do it." Oh, you don't understand. I'm not Pat Hayes. I don't have the spiked hair. Dude, I'm not Randy. You don't understand. I'm not those people. Bull duty. Don't let people bring you down. Everybody can be a genius. Everybody in here can be a genius. Everybody can fly. I really believe this. And guys, we're going to make real estate fun again, and we're going to do what? Change lives. Thank you all very much.